Sukhreet Buttar is here joining us. It's really late for her. She's based out of Seattle, and it's about past 10 p.m. So thank you, Sukhreet. We were supposed to do this much earlier.
Not a problem.
Thank you for staying up. Sukhreet was, had joined us inside Shift 2020, which is our habit-based fat loss program. And I thought, let's hear it straight from the horse's mouth. And we have Sukhreet here today. So Sukhreet, we are live inside the private Facebook group that is She Chooses Habits Over Diets. So this is a community of women like you and I who are who are interested in sane and simple methods of getting fit and staying fit. So, really excited to have you here today. My first question is, Sukhreet, just give me a second. Yes, my first question is, tell us about yourself a little bit, like a little background, so that people know who is Sukhreet and what you do, family, etc., where you're based out of, all of that.
Sure. Thank you for having me here, first of all, and Happy New Year.
Thank you. With that.
So yeah, like Jasneet said, I'm based out of Seattle. I am a working mom of 2 young kids. My son is 10. My daughter's just turned 5 this week. She's super excited. And I live here in Seattle with my husband, 2 kids, and my mom, and 4 dogs, 2 of mine, 2 of my mom's, 3 of which are German Shepherds. So, busy home, and I work for Amazon full time. I lead a product and engineering team here in Seattle. So my hands are pretty full. So that's a little bit about me.
Wow. So hands, house, home, brain, everything seems pretty full. Wow. And, happy birthday to Zoe. What was the date? And
29th.
29. Wow. Yeah. Okay. So year end, she's turned full 5. Wow. Yes. Big milestone birthday then.
Yes, it is.
So you've, but that's a nice date, because mostly, our work is lighter. Usually,
work is lighter.
In most sectors, work is lighter at this time.
Yes. I couldn't say I planned it, but Zoe's around Christmas and my son was born on Labor Day. So both end up being long weekends.
How cool is that? So, Sukhreet, tell me a little bit that, you're working as a product leader with Amazon. So what kind of work is it? Like, is it a lot of coordination amongst departments? Are you on your feet a lot of the time? Are you seated most of the time?
No, I am. This is my office. I'm here, usually 8 to 10 hours, sometimes more a day, usually 5 days, sometimes 6, depending on a launch or whatnot. But mostly sitting, typical tech role, in meetings most of the day. That's what I do, email and meetings.
Wow. And and you started working out of home when COVID started, right?
COVID started.
Before that, right. You were working out of the Amazon office. So did you notice there was a change in how active you were, or how seated were you? Were you more like moving around in your office?
I was. So, it's the campus. So, the meetings, when you are in campus, you prefer to go in person and, see people and all of that. And it was a different imagination of how things could work and couldn't work. And there was a lot of walking between buildings. So I was on my feet much more regularly.
Right.
And then COVID happened. And then, my mom's here. So like food's getting served. And chai is getting served, all of that. So there was a drastic shift in just the basic movement.
In the basic activity levels. Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I hear again and again from like most of the women that I speak to, most people that I speak to. So now tell me, Sukhreet, like before we started working together, like let's understand the picture before, how did you feel about your health? How did you feel about your body, how you looked and felt? What were your main struggles? What was perhaps keeping you stuck? Can you help?
Yeah, I mean, I was a pretty, normal weight kind of person before I had kids. And then after kids, especially after the second one, I my body felt very different. I had aches and pains and all kinds of stuff. This was also a year where I was dealing with a lot of personal stress. So, all of that combined, it wasn't a happy place, let's just say that. And then COVID happened, which took away all the social interaction. Everything became a meeting, the walk to a coffee shop or walk to a lunch, all of that became a meeting at your desk. So and I would say I accidentally, just half-heartedly responded, to be honest, when you posted on Facebook, if you're interested. I was like, I'm interested, I just want to know more, what is this about? But I was totally half-heartedly doing it. But I'm glad that happened, because I was at a point, I'll tell you, I'm not a diet person, I'm not an exercise person. That was my self-image, and the only diet I ever tried was this one, fast metabolism. It worked. I lost weight, kept it off for maybe 10 days, then it started going back up again. And with all the stress that I was going through, I have a sweet tooth. So that was my kind of comfort to go place. And that was not helping. And being at home, access to kitchen, all kinds of junk getting ordered. So when COVID happened, there was this whole thing about, we're going to run out of stuff, the world was panicking. So the first thing I bulk ordered was Maggie.
Maggie?
Big packs of Maggie. That's where life was, before all of this. And I wanted to lose weight. And really, I wanted to feel happier and more confident and just have more energy. It's I would just say life was a mess, and then my self-image wasn't helping me, and I really thought that I had to exercise a lot. That was my big barrier. How am I ever gonna do this thing that I hate if that's what I have to do to lose weight? That's where my head was.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, because Sukhpreet, and that's the thing is, I think that's what stops most women from even starting, from even saying, raising their hands. You raised your hand, even if you say half-heartedly, but at least you raised it and you said, okay, tell me more. But most of the time our perspective around this whole journey is that it's going to be really difficult. So what's the point? Because we won't be able to do it.
Correct. I won't have the time. I won't have the motivation. I didn't see myself as an exercise person. So too many barriers that I didn't think I would get over.
Wow. Yes. Thank you for sharing that. So, Tami, and you put it so nicely, because it's not just one or two things. It's really the whole system that seems to be kind of working against us,
Yes.
Our long hours, the fact that we have kids to look after, we don't have all time, we don't have the time or the inclination perhaps to hit the gym. We don't enjoy giving up on our favorite foods. We want that comfort, of the food being accessible and available to us. So it almost seems like a lost game even before we start.
Yes.
And I
the mind uses it.
Exactly. What's the point? Because I've been in exactly the same space, what you're sharing. So tell me, how did shift help? What did you learn that, what was different? Why do you think shift worked for you?
A couple of things. One, when you shared the information from my half-hearted, yes, I want to know more message, it just there wasn't anything drastic in it. It felt okay, it kind of seems like things I should be doing or could do. It didn't seem like this big barrier I had to go past to get started. The first base, can you eat slow? And can you pay attention to the fact that you're 80% full? It's the good old wisdom. And it kind of felt more am I going to learn something new? Or am I going to just get help remembering things that we somewhere have heard, like this thing, I've heard dadis and nanis say like bhook rakh ke khao, like don't stuff yourself, things like that. So it felt like, okay. And my biggest lazy reason was I don't have to exercise to lose weight.
Ah.
And that got me curious. I'm like, really? Yeah, we'll see. That's, curiosity. And that was the big, like, it didn't feel like I would have to do something very like, oh, there's no diet to follow. There's no like exercise things to follow. I guess, I could go along for the ride and just go for it and see what
Okay.
happens.
Okay. So that helped remove the, the hesitation
Yes.
that this is
Yes.
simple and I don't have to follow any diet plan. I don't have to exercise, both the things that I don't like. So that made it
Yes.
easier to sign up. So,
Yes. Yes.
so tell me, Sukhpreet, okay, before I get into asking you questions about shift, I want to ask you, let's like share with the audience, how do you think you've changed? What's been the changes in your body and your energy levels and like overall?
Yeah, quite a shift, I would say. I have lost about 10 pounds. I used to have this bloating all the time that I don't have anymore. I'm definitely more energetic. Like there was this one, something just stuck with me through the program. One of them was like, when you are eating and you kind of have this, you kind of take this breath, like pause, and can you go for a brisk walk, so some of those things have really stuck with me, and they've given me habits really that I can rely on now. I'm definitely more energetic. I've joined for the first time in my life formal Bhangra classes. I think the virtual part helped for sure for a lazy person. And I signed up for a strength trainer. And help. Like it's, wow, like that's a shift. For me, that's a big shift. And the beautiful thing about that is I've actually finally acknowledged, and lots of thanks to you, I don't have to exercise to lose weight. And I lost weight without exercising. I walked a lot, I moved, and it's normal, natural things that we do. But now I am joining this strength training for different reasons, like the reminders that I got on why we need to do that, as we're aging as women and working moms and, all of that premenopausal things and whatnot, so realizing the benefits of that, separating fitness training from weight loss.
Wow.
Have sort of helped me compartmentalize both. That's the shift. That's the shift.
Wow. Thanks, Sukhpreet, because what you're saying is so huge, right? I mean, we keep thinking that अगर weight lose करना है तो फिर exercise करनी है, but what you're saying is you didn't do it. You didn't really have to formally exercise to lose the excess weight. But now that you've lost whatever, the excess weight that you wanted, now you want to exercise for the right reasons.
Yes.
Your reasons have become stronger and you understand the role of exercise much better, and you don't have this pressure on your head. It's not like a talwar sitting here, okay, please exercise, otherwise you won't lose weight. So it's become something that you're looking forward to.
Yes.
Wow.
Definitely.
Wow.
Definitely.
Amazing. So tell me, what was, okay, I can't ask you what was different because you have only, like you said, you've only tried a shift and you haven't experienced any approach apart from this. But tell me, what were the parts that you think perhaps others can benefit from? What are the big takeaways for you from shift?
Yeah. Like I said, I've tried one. I've seen my friends try a lot of crazy weight loss stuff. So I don't have direct experience, but I've been a viewer. So I can actually answer that. I think for me, one of the biggest things is like, I love Indian food. Okay. So for me, like this quinoa, like there's things that I'm like, oh, I don't know, like they don't make me happy, So like there wasn't, I didn't have to drastically shift what I eat, what I like. I was able to actually go back to the foods I enjoy cooking as well as eating. And kind of, it was much easier to just, make that part of your life. It's just more awareness of the how to eat, and how much to eat. Like not like follow a program, like a plan, but really just how to listen to your body.
Yes.
So that was the big one. Like I wanted to eat Indian food, and I also still get to enjoy my occasional desserts or whatever it is, ice creams or chocolates or what have you. I still do
Yes.
that.
Yes.
So that was a big one. I think that people can benefit from. Like you don't have to start eating like crazy things that you don't like to eat. I actually wanted to be a vegetarian. Like I'm more inclined towards vegetarian. I eat chicken, fish
Yeah.
occasionally, but I feel like now I can do that like more confidently. Then I was like, oh, acha protein kahan se aayega aur ye kahan se. Like I just feel like, oh, my diet's more balanced. Like as a vegetarian, I could get my more balanced diet, or like all those things just came together.
Okay. Wow. Wow. So you're saying it became easier
Way
to,
easier.
yeah, to manage your food and not feel like you're depriving yourself of any nutrients. You start feeling more at peace with the food that works for you,
Yes.
you know?
Yes.
Wow. Amazing. So, Temi, I have two more questions. The
Sure.
first one is that if you could go back in time, okay, and speak to yourself, and I asked this in the last call also, I know that. So, but it's one of my favorite questions. So, and speak to yourself from 6 months back. So, Sukhreet in June 2020. Knowing everything that you know now, what would you tell yourself?
Why didn't I do this sooner? Definitely. But I would say, like, be kind to yourself
Wow.
and don't seek perfection. Like, perfection is not the goal here. Like, the
Hmm.
journey is what's important, and you will form these habits, and just trust the process. I did start with my fair share of skepticism, but uh, like I like to send these kind of wrapping up the year emails to my team, and I even mentioned in one of those, like I feel that this has been a tough year, really tough year personally for many of us, but for me, as well, in my own with my own stuff in my personal life. But shift has been the most positive thing in 2020 for me, and I feel like it's taught me to be more grateful and be more kind, and that's what I would tell my 6 month ago self. Just be kind to yourself, and don't seek perfection. I don't panic. Like that's the big thing when I think about, or when I tell my friends about the program. It's like I used to panic, acha chocolate kha liya ya acha ice cream kha liya, whatever it is, like I used to panic, acha pata nahi kya ho jayega, like I'm just going down this hole that I'm not going to be able to pull out of. Like I don't panic anymore. I kind of understand the inputs and outputs. अच्छा ये किया है तो अच्छा, 2 दिन जाग के binge watch किया है Netflix पे या whatever it is, कि अच्छा sleep got impacted, तो you know what's going to happen. Be ready for it and just get back on track, right? Like that. Um, just that's what I would tell myself. Be
Wow.
kind. Trust
Hmm.
the process. Perfection's not the goal. And things will fall in place.
And yeah, and wow, amazing. So thank you, Sukhreet. This was so beautiful. I didn't feel like, I mean, when you said that shift was perhaps one of the most positive things that happened to you in 2020, this this stuff is exactly why I wake up every morning, literally, because I know so many people are struggling with how they feel right now, and there is a simple way to thrive. There is a simpler way to feel better, and it's just that it is so simple that we start doubting it. And I feel, as my job as a coach, it's not only to coach people like you, and coach the amazing women that we had inside Shift, but also to spread the word. I used to have this big thing about how am I going to tell people, because I was also in a corporate career, and you have this, someone's doing the sales and you're doing the job, right? So here, my job is to also sell and get people through the door. We call it sales, but it's really service, because if I don't talk about all of this, then how will more and more people benefit from this positive change? Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll
uh,
tell you, like if I hadn't joined Shift, forget about the 10 pounds alone. I guarantee you I would have put on weight, felt more miserable at this point in the year. Because I've seen, I sit in 100 people team. Like I've seen that happen to way too many people this year, is because, well, food is the comfort, and what else can you do? And that's what you're kind of falling back on. I probably would have gained 10 pounds. So it's
Yeah.
things would have looked different.
No,
Yeah, no,
I hear
definitely.
you. I think a lot of people have shared that. Manisha will be joining us next week for the interview, and she says, "No, Jasneet, I haven't lost 10 kgs. I've lost 20 because I've definitely have to put on 10 more."
Yeah.
Given how life totally changed and our systems collapsed, the way we knew life, the way we knew our own bodies changed. Um, Amazing. So I have one more question, Supreet. That we work in shift is this whole the way we work is not just one on one, but also in this setting of working with other participants, other people together, right? And so
Mhm.
at the same time, I don't feel it's really a group program. It's kind of like a mix of two, because we also meet one on one, and we have these messaging and all of that one on one. Whereas we also have this group of women that we work together with. So how was your experience of, like, what did you like, not like about working with other women? Do you think it was helpful? How was it for you?
Oh, immensely helpful. Like Friday evenings, it sounds like I'm selling like this is a sales pitch, but trust me, like it was the thing I was looking forward to. Like it was kind of like, the Friday evening get together with friends for me. And I don't know how you manage to kind of attract sort of similar minded women who were non-judgmental, very open about their vulnerabilities, and it wasn't like, I really think the group conversations worked. For me, they definitely worked because it wasn't like a coach preaching. Like it was a good balance, of getting information that you go, yeah, okay, make some notes and remember these things, like sleep can impact your weight. Um, things like that, but then also sharing what others were struggling with made the experience real, relatable, and there were so many times where we all like, oh, this is what I'm struggling, here's what I try to work for me, and here's what I like. It was a group learning, so it really felt like just a good bunch of friends coming together once a week, chatting about what's working, their struggles, their successes, and celebrating their successes, and really picking each other back up. That was amazing to watch. And I think it's like the meeting of the week where we laughed the most.
Yes.
I really think it works. Like it really works. I don't know how you found all of these. Like there's laws of attraction or something, or
Yeah.
same wavelength or something that
Yes.
brought these really strong, powerful, successful women together who seem to really like struggle with this part of their life,
Exactly.
um, and we're open to talk about it.
Yes, yes, exactly. And you know how it took us like a little while for everyone to start opening up, but then as they started seeing that when we open up, when we share, when we're vulnerable, that is where our strength is, and
Yes.
that is what opens us to change. And
Yes.
and this is a safe space. Literally, it's a safe space. All of us, everything that happens in this discussion remains in this room,
Yes.
and yeah, and all of you, when you would share your experiences, I would be like, wow, she gave such a great answer that I wouldn't have thought of. So many times it was like you guys coaching each other, and I was being the facilitator, and then sometimes I'd put on the teaching hat. And my favorite moments was one of those meetings when I got logged out, and and Devika's messaging, "Chutti ho gayi, ghar jao."
That was good. That was great. Yeah, I was on for that one. It was,
Yes.
yeah, we had fun doing it. We really had fun doing it. You know.
Yes, yes. My mother-in-law would say, Jasneet अंदर जांदी है अपनी calls रही, and सबसे ज़्यादा हंसी Jasneet की आवाज़ भी आ रही है. She has her laughs with her clients.
It was great. That was great sessions. Such great sessions.
Amazing.
And
So
I also want to call out. There was, I think, as we were wrapping up some of our calls, someone said, and I could relate to it. As working women or mothers or older siblings in some cases,
yeah,
we it felt like the space where we didn't want any of that. We were
yeah,
just these women who were trying to get some control imperfectly, with some control over this part of our life that we had ignored for so long. And it really felt like, okay, we were helping each other out.
Wow. Yes. Yes. This was our space, where we weren't
Yes.
moms or siblings or elder siblings or daughters-in-law or daughters. We could just be
Exactly.
ourselves and work on
Yes.
ourselves and make ourselves
Yes.
a priority. Wow. So Sukhpreet, tell me, uh, you know, every 6 months as I go out and I start talking about shift and how, this is different, um, I get different kinds of questions like, how can you lose weight without a diet plan? uh, how come you don't give any workouts? How much weight can I expect to lose? Stuff like that. So because of course people are mostly coming in with this set thing that if I work out for so much and if I have this diet, then I can expect to lose this much. Whereas in shift we kind of go deeper as to how our bodies are, and what affects your rate of fat loss. It's not just your eating and movement, it's a lot of other things. So you've been through this for about 6 months, and what would your advice be to someone who's considering joining but isn't sure? Like, what would you say to them?
Yeah, like we're in this age where data is, the biggest commodity. Like what we are data overload generation, right? So like every input output has to be matched, and this comes from a person who leads a data product team. Okay, so I'm a data, but I think this isn't about one. I think bodies are more complicated than that, than like direct input output matching. You can do that, but you can't sustain that. You can do that for a period of time, but I really don't think you can sustain that. I've seen way too many people, over the last 15 years or so, I would say, kind of go through that and then come back to where they started, or unless they're like athletes or something like that. And second, I think this isn't just about your body. Like when I tell my friends about this, isn't like a weight loss program to me. This is, I kind of saw like a wellness coaching to me, right? Like, and wellness isn't just about body. Like there is something going on psychologically, emotionally, hormonally that you can't ignore and just expect, okay, this is my body and this is the input and this is the output. Expect, like, this program isn't that. This is about reminding, like I was saying, like, there is a kindness element, there's a gratitude element, there is a mindfulness element. Not that you're teaching meditation, but like I actually started, I'm a student of meditation, I would say, so it all kind of came together in this program for me. So what I would humbly advise is, like, don't obsess over the numbers, don't obsess over the inputs and outputs, because the why matters. Why, like, ultimately I believe this, like, whether someone's doing drugs, whether someone's meditating, whether someone's exercising, working, wants to have kids, any of that, ultimately we want to be happy. So this program is about being happy, and it reminded me of the why did I want to lose weight, and it was about being happy. And I wasn't like, अच्छा इतना वेट हो जाएगा तो I will be happier, and 1 inch कम हो जाएगा या 1 pound ऊपर हो जाएगा, I'll be like, life isn't that data driven. So like, let go a little bit and just learn to appreciate the process, and learn to appreciate wellness more than numbers is what I would say.
Wow. Like I said, you guys sum it up so beautifully in ways that I can't. Because as you experience this, you're so right. I mean, we always start with the why. Why are you wanting to lose weight? And is it a number on the scale, or is it a certain feeling that you perhaps want to experience more in your life? And at the end of the day, it's about happiness, and that's not data.
That's not data. And I'll tell you, because I started, right, like being the data person, acha, I want to be this weight by the end of, like, even though I didn't say that, I had that back of my mind.
Yes.
I'm not exactly at that weight yet, but I'm comfortably, like, happy with that. I'm really happy with where I am, because, like, I've learned that this is a journey. I've learned that this isn't about 6 months. I've learned that this is about being imperfect, and just staying consistent and knowing what to come back to, reminding you of the basics. So even though I am not this particular number yet, I might get there, but I genuinely, I'm not obsessing over a number anymore because I feel happier. I feel like I'm not panicking over what I'm eating or whatever because I understand my body better.
Wow.
And that's ultimately what matters. Like it's a bit of a self-discovery process, honestly.
Wow. Thank you, Sukhpreet, for sharing that. It's and that amazing reminder, because we keep working on our bodies and our health like there's a finish line. But the thing is that this is not about reaching a finish line. This is about staying in the game as long as you're alive. This is about showing up every day for yourself in a certain way, and you will pass the finish line without even realizing it. And then you'll have another one. Like, Sukhpreet, when you would join the program, I remember, how you were like, I can't exercise, just think. And I've never been an exerciser. I don't identify with myself as being an exerciser. And you're like, okay, let's start where you are. So can you stand instead of sitting while working? Yeah. And then you started standing, and you started
moving desk
so much.
adjustable desk now.
Yes. And then Sukhpreet would join us for the weekly meetings, and she would be standing instead of sitting. And then everyone started standing up, and so many people were walking while taking the meetings. So, you started where you were, and now it's not like, weight loss ho gaya, kahani khatam. Now that no, I have to make my body stronger. We're all aging, our bones are getting lighter, our muscles are, undergoing atrophy. So how about investing in our bodies? And yourself, you signed up for a strength training program. I mean, Sukhpreet messaged me a week after we finished shift. And I was so happy that day to get that message that, she said, I've signed up for a strength training. I was like, wow. And
where did that come from?
Yeah.
Even I don't know. I don't know.
That's the thing that tells me that, that is the objective. The objective is not to reach a certain number. The objective is to stay in the game, to really be committed to yourself throughout your life. And when you sent that message, that's what it shows. Yeah. That you now have another goal to be stronger, fitter, more, like much more stronger than, and that will never end. This process will
life's a moving target.
Yes.
Life's a moving target.
Exactly. Wow. Thank you so much, Sukhpreet, for joining me today here.
Thank you for having me.
Sharing these beautiful words, of wisdom and encouragement. And I hope that people, the ladies who are watching us, will take away something valuable, whether they join shift or not. But this is about how they need to start looking at themselves, how they need to start, using more self-kindness and start investing in the process rather than in the goal. Yes. And that's what you've really helped today. And what I love about these interviews is that I can sit and listen and go, wow,
I thank you.
Instead of having, knowing what to talk about. So thank you again. And
thank you for having me, and thank you for being a completely non-judgmental coach. Like you have this way of not giving the answer, but asking questions to get to the answer. I think that might come from some corporate culture training or something, but it works. It helps. It helps us self-discover.
Yes, that's what this is about. So amazing. Thank you, Sukhpreet. And we will have the momentum call for shift in the middle of January. So I'll be sending out the invites. Okay, so we'll continue to see each other once a month at least in the group.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, and Happy New Year once again.
Yes, Happy New Year to you too, Sukhpreet, to the kids and everyone at home. And Happy New Year, guys. And thank you for joining us today. And through the whole of next week, I have 3 or 4 more interviews lined up. So stay tuned. I'll be going live again on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday with 3 more kick-ass clients who are going to share their journey inside shift. Thank you.
Go for it, people. Do it. It's worth it. It's worth it. Coming from a prior skeptic.
Thanks for clarifying that. Yes.
Bye.
Okay. Thank you, Sukhpreet. Bye.